I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a media junkie collecting everyone else's coverage. The Chosen, a crowdfunded series dramatizing the life of Jesus of Nazareth, was one of the first affected projects by the strike to prove that prayer really can deliver us from Hollywood evil. The series itself may as well be the little Jesus that could. From its first season, the movie quietly amassed an audience and crowdfunding to propel the series from anonymity to faith-based streaming favorite on most platforms, including for free on Tubi. Because it was one of the first productions allowed to continue filming, Entertainment Weekly says that the series, quote, serves as an important case study as the strike continues, exemplifying how films and television series can continue production without ties to the studio system. Because the series is independently funded, its production was exempted from the strike, so even SAG-AFTRA cast members like star Jonathan Romy are permitted to continue working during the strike, end quote. The Chosen is no Mission Impossible, but it's still pretty big, maybe big enough to wonder if the same clauses affecting a crowd-funded movie might also affect crowd-funded content creators, especially those on YouTube. But what if I'm not a content creator? What if I'm an influencer? With questions and answers adapted by reporting from Variety, IndieWire, and The Wrap. With links below, question. I'm an influencer. Can I promote movies and TV shows? Answer. Here's where it gets tricky. Most influencers are non-union and are not subject to any strike rules, but some of them do work under the SAG-AFTRA influencer agreement, or, and this is where it may affect most of you, may want to work under that agreement someday. And those influencers have been asked not to promote struck work, i.e. movies and TV shows, either for pay or organically. However, if an influencer already has a contract to promote something, the union advises them to fulfill the obligations of the contract. They are also free to influence on any other subject. Question. What happens if I break the strike rules? Answer. If you do it inadvertently, someone will probably tap you on the shoulder and remind you not to do it again. But the union absolutely has the power to enforce its strike rules. Penalties may include censure, reprimand, fine, suspension, and/or expulsion. If you're not a member and perform struck work, you will be barred from joining the union in the future. So if someone from Universal asks you to star in a fast-track sequel to Oppenheimer, you should probably say no and join Kill Mr. Murphy on the picket lines. What if I'm not an influencer? What if I just make a living on YouTube? Question. I'm a film critic. Can I review movies? Absolutely. Critics are not on strike and are not obligated to start reviewing movies or TV shows. Question. I'm an entertainment journalist. Can I cover movies and TV? Answer. Yes. Entertainment journalists, whether they belong to a union or not, are not on strike. Even those broadcast journalists who are represented by SAG-AFTRA are not affected, as the strike relates only to the TV/theatrical contract. Question. I'm an entertainment journalist. Will any actor talk to me about their project? Answer. Probably not. That would be promoting struck work. They can talk about why they're on strike, though. Question. What if the actor wants to talk about their project and sets up the interview through their personal publicist and not through the studio? Answer. That's still not okay, according to SAG-AFTRA. The WGA has often done this after a few weeks, but SAG-AFTRA has not. Indeed, Bob Odenkirk of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul fame had harsh words for Tom Cruise and the Mission Impossible star's request for actors to be allowed to promote struck projects. That meeting with Tom Cruise and the AMPTP was reported by The Hollywood Reporter, saying, in addition to lobbying studios and streamers on behalf of SAG-AFTRA, Cruise is said to have asked the union to consider allowing actors to promote films during a strike, given the fragile state of movie theaters, reminding his union that promotion matters to actors too. It felt quote-unquote uncomfortable, says a source who was present. Bob Odenkirk told The Wrap that actors should not be asking for waivers to promote their movies during the SAG-AFTRA strike. Here's a clip of him saying so.
Okay, what do you think about actors who've asked for waivers to keep promoting their movies?
Don't. It's a strike.
Yeah.
Be on strike. You lose, we lose, everybody loses. That's tough shit.
Yeah, we all are in this together. And if some of us are out starting new projects, promoting some others, that's going to cause dissension when we need the opposite. We need solidarity.
Sometimes you have to do the hard thing.
Indeed, SAG-AFTRA has asked members not to do interviews or any other form of promotion until the strike is resolved, which is why the cast of Oppenheimer walked out of the premiere once the strike became official. Question. So, no interviews, but can SAG-AFTRA members do reality shows or game shows? Answer. Yes. The union has helpfully put out a document listing all the things that SAG-AFTRA performers can still do, including appearing on reality shows and game shows. They can also do commercials, video game work, talk shows, etc. It's a pretty good list. How to qualify for an exemption if you're an independent producer. Question. I'm an independent producer. Can I get a waiver to keep making my project? Answer. Yes. SAG-AFTRA calls this an interim agreement, and you'd be agreeing to adhere to the final terms of whatever deal the AMPTP reaches with the union. You also have to be truly independent of the AMPTP companies. How to qualify for an exemption if you're under contract with the AMPTP. Question: I'm a producer on a project under contract with the AMPTP. Can I get a waiver to keep making my project? Answer: if you're part of a production with a contract with the AMPTP, you'll need an exemption. One source shared a confirmation letter with IndieWire that's sent to qualifying productions. It states that if producers are willing to agree to execute an interim agreement when it becomes available, specifically agreeing to an 11% wage increase compared to the 2020 theatrical deal, quote unquote, we will not interfere in the production. And while the letter does not spell it out, it assumes that producers will have to agree to the new agreement when the strike ends. That will be good enough for film insurance bond companies looking to insure such productions, something that threatened to derail truly indie films. How big can a movie be and still not be affected by the strike? Answer: well, everyone's affected by the strike, silly. But without playing the semantics game, here's an article for you. A24 can still make quirky little movies amid SAG strike from Vulture. According to Variety, SAG-AFTRA has approved actors to work on 39 independent projects, including 2 A24 films, because they are not associated with AMPTP companies, aka Hollywood studios. 2 family films from A24 are still allowed to film under the waiver: Mother Mary, a pop star fashion designer melodrama, and Death of a Unicorn, in which Paul Rudd and on-screen daughter Jenna Ortega hit a unicorn with their car. I don't belong to SAG-AFTRA and I have no interest in making content. How can I show my support for the strike? You can post on social media, and you can donate to the Entertainment Community Fund, which is supporting crew members who are out of work. The union has also encouraged non-members to show up at picket lines and at rallies. A list of picket locations can be found in the link below. Should I boycott Netflix? Neither the WGA nor SAG-AFTRA has called for a boycott of Netflix or any other platform, and it won't make much of a difference if you do it on your own. What happens if Tom Cruise ever officially joins the picket lines? The Wrap reports the feeling outside the studio, which is plastered with ads for Cruise's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, was decidedly anti-Cruise on Wednesday. One strike actor quipped that if Cruise did ever show up on a picket line, he'd likely use it as another promotional tool by parachuting in or something equally dramatic. Another actor chimed in, if he ever shows up on a picket line, he'll get beaten up. How certain is any of this? The Guild reserves the right to change strike rules, and it doesn't matter if you read the terms and conditions. Yep, this sounds like Streamberry all over again. Well, that's it for us today. Head to Patreon to support more content like this and occasional bonus stuff from my besties. Our video essays and documentaries in production include The Majesty and Wonder of Sci-Fi Fantasy author C.S. Friedman, also known as Celia Friedman, 10 Bigoted Questions Everyone Asks Anyway, including you, and How to Survive a Mental Prison, covering my life from 9 to 15 years old stuck in mental health institutions. Have a good day. Bye. Bye now. Bye. 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 Bye now. Bye. 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 Bye.